Yeah. Let's just say it was definitely designed by an engineer. Welcome back to another episode of Mini Metal Fab, everyone. Today we are reviving an old project that hasn't had much love.
See, if you've been here before, you may recognize this. This is our KTM 300 Reaper Mini Quad. And this thing, it had a rough start. It was put together very quickly, which was impressive, and it worked all right.
It ripped.
Until it started
had some
going
issues
through Busco. Busco Beach is some of the harshest terrain anywhere.
Yes, it is.
It'll find anything that you forgot. About 10-15 minutes into our first ride with this thing, the shock tab here gave out because it was only tack welded.
Yep, forgot to fully weld it, so it snapped. Had to re-weld that down there.
Lost both of our plastics.
Yep, they snapped. The chain liked to keep blowing off, and
it wouldn't
stay on.
Shift.
Yep, it wouldn't shift.
Because
shifter ended up snapping.
There wasn't quite enough room for it in the first place. It needed to be up a little bit. So
yeah,
that's gonna change.
And then
the engine needs a rebuild. It was leaking oil.
Yep, leaking tons of oil out of the engine. And the carburetor was doing nothing but flooding out and pouring gas everywhere. Needs a rebuild and was completely gunked up, running terrible.
So it started great and then
went downhill
the whole time.
Very fast. We want to revive this thing because this thing rips and it's a blast to ride. So we have to pull everything out for this frame because we got a new frame for the engine because we're going to change the chassis. Still sticking with the 125 platform, but it's a more modern Extreme Typhoon.
Like second gen, if you will.
Second gen.
A lot of stuff was cleaned up on the next
a lot more billet on them and a lot more stainless, and they were just built a little bit nicer, and all the kinks in this one were worked out, so it's just perfect right off the bat.
Steering is a billion times better.
Yes, it is. So first things first, we're gonna pull off the plastics, the gas tank, and then pull off the exhaust here so we can get down to the engine. We got the quad fully disassembled.
All we have to do now is take out our engine mounts.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was pretty easy.
No.
Tomorrow we're gonna change out the suspension, but we just gotta pull the engine and then everything's disassembled. It came along pretty good, so it should be pretty easy to rebuild in the new frame. And now that we know what we're doing more and we have more time, we're gonna do it a lot better.
We can set it up way better.
Yep. So we got the quad fully disassembled.
The engine's out.
Ready to be stripped down to have the steering repaired. Yesterday, when we disassembled the engine, we realized why the chain kept throwing and the engine was vibrating everything so badly.
And we got very lucky because our rear engine mount
snapped completely out.
The welds didn't necessarily break, the frame did.
Yeah, it cracked the frame.
Pulled it right out.
Sheared the metal right out from around where the welds were on both sides.
And that's why we're going to rubber mounted engine mounts.
Yes. On the next one, we're definitely rubber mounting the engine, so this can't happen again. Thankfully, our upper mount and our lower mount were very strong, and those didn't shear and come loose because we would have lost the engine. But this thing is insane. So we need to cut out the old mounts, but before we do that, our steering is super stiff on this thing. Always has been. Like, it's just insanely hard to turn. And it's not because of the ball joints or the tie rods. We checked all those, and those still all spin freely. It's definitely something in a steering stem here, and there's no bearings. It's just bushings. We think it's a lot of rust, corrosion, and dirt buildup in there from the years and years it's been sitting outside. Unfortunately, it's not as easy as just unbolting the bottom and pulling it out and checking it.
No, we have to pull the whole lower part of the frame down.
Yes, this frame splits in two, and that is the only way to get your steering stem out of this frame, by splitting the frame completely in half. So there's two main bolts we have to undo basically to separate the frame, which is kind of crazy that there's two bolts that hold this thing together. One up here and one down here. Right down here, this big guy here.
And that's all it takes.
Yep. So we need to undo those so we can separate these two and pull the steering stem out to try to clean and grease in there. So Russell's gonna work on the foot brake. We have to take our foot brake off, just the lever here, to be able to access the bolt to split the frame. I'm gonna work on removing the bars, because you have to remove the bars and the mounts here with this castle nut and the big bolt in the center to be able to pull the steering stem out. So we gotta do those two things first, and then we can undo our main bolts and try to separate these. So we got it separated finally.
Got it in 2 pieces. Now there's one more to whack out, and it's definitely in there.
It's crazy because this is basically just an SSR 125 frame with a swing arm and the whole quad front end instead of a fork. But like the frame design itself is like identical for the seat and everything. It's kind of hilarious. But we got it separated. It's super stuck in here. And this is definitely where our friction is coming from and why it's so hard to turn. So once we get this out, we'll be able to clean everything out really good. Wire wheel all the rust and corrosion off, and hopefully get it to turn a little nicer, because that is bad. We can barely turn it by hand, like, at all.
You just simply can't. You need the tie rods.
Yeah, the crazy leverage from the bars. So Russell's gonna give it some wax to try to hit it out. Come on. It's going. It's not. We finally got it to come. After lots of heat, WD-40, whacking.
A lot of thinking.
Yeah, we finally got it to come out. Oh yeah, that was not easy. Can you just pull it out now or no?
Not quite.
Just put it up on its back.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Right. She's going like a dream.
Coming out nice. Beautiful. Now we can get rid of all the corrosion and paint on this thing, clean out the insides of these plastic bushings, grease everything, and hopefully it'll spin and slide in nicely next time.
All the parts are cleaned up. We got the bushings nice and clean. We got the shaft all cleaned up.
It actually slides through the bushings now.
Yeah, it can turn.
It can turn again, yes.
Work as it's meant to.
So we're gonna put grease on this, and we can reinstall it, and we can remarry our frames and put them back together, make them one again. We got the frame all back together. Russell's doing the final step of reinstalling the brake. Tomorrow, we're gonna overhaul all the suspension and put much softer suspension in it. It's not as much travel, but it'll be softer, it's lighter, it'll be better for a 212 setup. So we're gonna put that in tomorrow and redo the suspension with the mounts and get that dialed. It came out so much better. It is so much easier to turn the bars now than it was. It's a new day at Mini Metal Fab. And today we're going to be working on the suspension on this mini quad here. We have to take out this long travel suspension because that's saving for the 300 build.
Currently, it's running a Kawasaki Ninja 500 shock in the rear.
Yep.
And 2 KTM 85 shocks in the front.
Yeah. And they're really stiff for a 212 because they're super light. There's not much weight we're going to be adding. So they're just way too stiff, and it's just overkill for this build. So we're going to be downsizing to these.
To the original Mastiff 125 shocks.
Yeah.
Like, they're pretty strong. The only issue is they're short. So we have to make custom tabs.
For the ground clearance, because if you just install them, you'll lay frame off of everything.
We want to keep relatively the same ride height where it is right now.
Russell's going to be working on removing.
Yeah, taking those both out. And then we're going to slide it back.
Cut out the tabs, the upper ones and lowers, and then while he's doing that, I'm working on making new tabs for the lowers, and then I'll make new ones for the uppers too. We're gonna make them taller to give it more ground clearance and ride height to keep it relatively where it is now, so that way we still have good ground clearance when you hit jumps or bumps. You won't lay frame everywhere, but it'll be softer than what it is now and won't have quite as much travel. But it should be sweet. It should ride a little nicer.
I have the old shock tabs all cut out and ground down.
I got the new ones cut out and ground down and the holes drilled. We got all 4 of them. So we're going to be tacking these guys in.
Ready to fit the bottoms.
Yeah, and then we can measure out how tall we need them for the top. Because we want our shocks to sit somewhere around here like this. So the top ones are going to have to be fairly long to go from here all the way out to here. But that'll give us more ground clearance and hopefully stiffer as well. So we just got the front suspension dialed on this thing. It came out so good.
Back together, and we're definitely loving it.
Yeah, better than it did the way it was before. So we made our top and bottom tabs. We extended the top ones out, made them out of thicker sheet metal, and we raised the bottom ones up to give us more ground clearance. Now look at all the clearance.
Yeah, we were able to keep our same ride height as well.
And look how nice and stiff this is.
Yeah, like I have my full weight on it. It didn't sag.
Yeah.
Like we can take preload off.
These are full max preload because it was so soft before. So now we're gonna take the preload off and it'll be perfect.
I'm on the bars and it's not even squatting it yet.
But when you bounce, you can squat it. Yeah.
It's good.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Now when we jump it, it won't be bottoming constantly and laying frame. It's gonna be mint.
We ended up taking off a good amount of preload in the front, and now we're gonna go on to cutting out and fitting in the old shock into the rear again. Brandon's mocking up our tabs right now. I'm gonna remove the Ninja 500 shock and then go from there.
So Russell just cut out all the tabs. I cut out the new tabs.
Drilled
we got them bolted up. Yep. So this is what it's looking like.
He just has to hold it in place, and then that's gonna go there. This will reinforce the top.
The top so it can't bend.
And
the bottom will weld up right down there.
Should be good.
Hopefully it'll be stiffer than what stock was.
And we got
because it was really soft before.
And we got the keeper ride height. It's
not
not squatted
we have the jack set for ride height.
It's not squatted in the front.
Yep, nice and level, looking good. And then we're still going to soften the front springs a bit more once we get the rear in and figure out how stiff the rear is. And then we'll adjust the rear to accommodate the front as well.
Like it's good, but it still could use a bit more.
Yeah. So we're going to tack it in place and see how it feels. So we just got the rear end all welded in.
Yeah,
and we loosened up the preload because the suspension is actually dialed. Like, look at this. The front is perfect too. Yeah. When you get on it, it sags a tiny bit when you get on it. And you can squat it. Here, you want to show them?
Yeah.
Like, so like when you get off, you stand on it. It sags a little bit, which is perfect. You want your suspension to have a tiny bit of sag. You don't want it to be rock solid. And then when you bounce, you can squat it down, but it's not even close to bottoming yet. And the frame's still super far from the ground, which is perfect. Because before, when you squat it, you would almost lay the frame. So when you hit a bump or a jump, you would actually lay the frame and it would scoop a bunch of rocks up and things. And it was just not good.
Yeah.
Slow you down a bunch. So this should be perfect.
Suspension's definitely dialed now.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm doing now, I'm tightening up all our control arm bolts because they had some play to them.
Yeah, they were kind of really loose. We almost lost the whole front end.
Yeah, the backside was definitely looser than the front, but it was also closer to the 300, so.
Yeah, the 300 loosened every bolt on this thing.
But like all in all,
it's coming together good.
Just like putting together. It's going so smooth.
Yeah, it is. It's coming together really nice and easy. Tomorrow, we got to take the whole rear axle off, unfortunately, so we can change out the sprocket.
Changing the sprocket or the brakes or anything in the rear end is not easy.
Yeah.
There's 2 set screws in the back of the wheel there. there's a E-clip on an outside, and then there's two spanner nuts right there.
Yeah. Let's just say it was definitely designed by an engineer.
Yeah, not for a mechanic.
Nope. An engineer designed this thing. Russell's going to give the suspension a test.
Yeah.
See what he thinks. He weighs a bit more than I do, so suspension setups are different between the two of us.
Yeah.
For me, they tend to be stiffer. For him, they tend to be softer.
I got like 20 pounds on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't bad at all. Like, it
that looks
sagged
good.
About the same as you. And then, like,
That's
I
mint.
could bottom it, but it would take a whole lot to do so.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like the way it feels.
Yeah. It should absorb the bumps good. You should be able to rip it nice off in the dunes.
We
down
don't
Busco.
want what we have with the big block. We want what this is right now.
Yeah,
the big block has huge long travel suspension, so it can take softer, blows, with more sag and compression to it.
Yeah, it
but
has more to
we want
give.
Springy. We want it right back to ride height, as soon as possible.
Yes, how you don't bottom because it's so low to the ground. So this should be a good performer for down in the dunes and out on the trails. It should rip with the built 212, making almost 25 horsepower. Revving over 10,000 RPM, it should be fun.
Where we're bottoming is where stock ride height used to be.
Yeah.
On the original.
Cut this ride height in half. So you see our ground clearance?
Thing was
before,
so
cut
low.
that in half, and that's where ground clearance was stock. It was really low.
It was like this almost.
Yeah, that was ride height before you compress the suspension. So you just lay frame constantly.
Now we're going to start disassembling the rear end.
Yeah, we got to change out our rear sprocket from a 430 or 428 chain, right?
Yeah, something for...
Down to a 420 chain sprocket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for a full-size dirt bike engine.
Yeah. So we are going to be running a standard 212 chain, just a 420 setup. So we got to disassemble the whole rear end, unfortunately.
Got to jack it up, take the wheel off.
Yeah.
Take off the bearings, or at least
the
unbolt
locking
them.
collars here.
Yeah.
And then we got to take the bearing off, and then we can pull the sprocket off after that. So we're going to get to cracking and try to get this thing taken apart.
What size are on the inside of the wheel? I think 6s.
Allen keys?
On the inside of the wheel, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Not bad.
I didn't even know that was there. All right.
That's how it stays on the axle.
Yeah.
And
we got the rear end off, so that's solid. We got to remove our bearing here, unfortunately, and the wheel and hub, and then we can take our sprocket bolts out to pull the sprocket off. And it's probably stuck on there like it was last time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, nice. So we'll try to hit that off like we did before, and then it'll be perfect. So we're going to pull off the wheel. We got to pull a snap ring off, and then apparently there's Allen keys under there we got to loosen for the hub, and then it'll come off, and then we can work on the bearing there.
So that's the wheel off. It has a keyway and a snap ring slot, and this is what the whole hub on the wheel looks like.
And two
Allen
locking
keys back there.
Bolts.
Yeah, clamps it right onto there.
Yeah, pretty sweet. But now this thing is kind of like a press fit, so you really kind of got to hit this thing off to get it off.
Extremely difficult.
Yes, so we have to use our punch and work our way around it and slowly tap it off until it's completely off the shaft, and then we can remove the sprocket. They don't make it easy on you at all, but it is what it is.
Got the bearing off, got the sprocket off.
Yep, this is the sprocket going on the 300, the next quad, because it's already perfectly machined in the center bore. We want torquier gearing, though. So our plan is to change the engine sprocket size by 1 or 2 teeth, make it a little bit smaller, and that will give us more torque without actually changing the size of the rear sprocket. Because this gives us good ground clearance, it fits with the guard, and it's perfectly machined and drilled out for this hub.
Yeah.
So it'll work perfectly, and it's not worn. It's basically brand new.
And even though this thing went through Busco, the bearing and everything kind of came off with much more ease than when we first picked this thing
Yeah,
up.
unfortunately, the seal's really cooked on this thing.
Totally shot.
But you can't exactly buy new seals.
No, we'd have to measure it.
So we'd have to get something custom made.
Well, if we measure it and get the same diameter dust seal, if they even sell dust
it's just like,
seals,
where do you even order that from, you know? Like, it's
Yeah.
something that isn't really even made anymore. Maybe the seal still is in the same size, but not from the company that made this quad. So this was the original sprocket that came off of this quad. When we engine swapped it, we went down in teeth for the much more powerful engine to give us proper gearing for it. And look at the size difference. Quite a change. So this will be much better suited for a 212 because they don't make nearly the same power as a 300cc two-stroke engine does, even fully built. So this will be perfect for the amount of torque. It'll rotate the wheels good because they're pretty small wheels. We're not upping tire size at all on this thing. We're going to leave it with the tires it has because they grip good and they hold air. So we're going to leave it as is. So we can bolt this guy on and it'll be perfect.
with everything back together and the suspension where we want it, I'm going to start to clean up these plastics. They have a whole lot of Busco left on them, and they can be looking like this instead of this. I already started to work on the back here with some ultra fine steel wool and simple green, and it's cutting right through all the scum and like buried, scratched and dirt. So I'm gonna chip away at this now, and that'll pretty much do it for this one.
We've been making good progress on the plastics. It's not easy. It's a lot of work. The rear ones are just about done. The front ones we still got to finish up. But yeah, just a lot of brake clean, simple green, 000 steel wool, and a lot of rubbing and scrubbing.
Use sandpaper like as a test bit, and that didn't work.
No, it's not as good. It's just gums up and clogs up like crazy on the plastic.
Like, this is the best solution.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, you can get easier results with like colored plastics, but with white, this is apparently the way to go.
Yeah, so we're gonna keep going at it, and then we'll be back once we get it all looking good. But it's coming along. The rear looks really good compared to before. So much better. We're still gonna paint them, so this will just be for now. But at least we'll already have a good base for paint, so we can just prime and paint right over top of this.
The only thing we'll have to do is
Rough up the glossy parts.
and that'll hopefully finish. Like, you won't even see them then because the lines will be gone.
Yeah. We finally got the plastics dialed on this thing, all cleaned up.
It's at our liking.
It took forever.
Definitely not easy. Like,
No.
I think it'd be easier to rebuild some shocks.
Yeah. I'd rather cut and grind all day than do this all day. It was terrible. Hand sanding it with steel wool and simple green and brake clean.
But look at the results. Like,
Yeah.
you can't argue with that.
No, it came out good. Really good. They're not perfect, but for what this quad is, it is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So we hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Mm-hmm. Like, comment, and subscribe, and share.
Yeah, stay tuned for the next video on this thing.
This will have to be part 1. Part 2, we're putting the engine in it
and giving it a test.
rip. Yeah.
We're waiting on the parts to show up. So once they show up, we're going to throw it in here and give this thing a rip. It should be a lot of fun. It's coming along really nicely so far.
The next place this thing is going for sure is the car wash. There's still Busco all over it. It could just use it before we weld anything to it.
Yep. So we'll see that, and then we'll be able to start putting the engine in and getting it dialed. So far, the suspension, the plastics, the steering has all come out perfect. So
yeah,
it's ready
for the finishing touches. We'll see you in the next one.
God bless.